You mentioned NFTs, and this is something that I'm watching a couple of your videos was interesting because I'm still learning about it. And one of the things that I got from your conversation is that there's a lot of people diving in and they're like creating NFTs. What do you see the value of NFTs for regular businesses? You talk about the NFL and any company, to be honest. Give your view as a business person in terms of what are NFTs, and also you talk when I've sort of listened to some of the stuff you've gone on about is that community is really important as it relates to that, but also you seem to flag up that there's a lot of false promises in some of these ideas as well. So give it, for those people who are considering getting into this space and know nothing about, give us a bit of a summary around that and maybe touch on those on the community, but also maybe sort of the wrong way to do it as well.
Yeah, so I'll start by saying what an NFT isn't, and it's not just a picture, right? It's not just a Bored Ape, or not just this, or not just that. And I think the space, listen, it grew to where it got because of the Bored Apes, because of the little, fun pictures and stuff. But it also, people got a negative connotation to it, right? They have a negative thought on what an NFT is, because you buy a Bored Ape, what's the utility? Where's the value? But an NFT, all that really is it's just proving ownership of a glass, or it could be a car title, right? But it's a digital car title that's built on a blockchain, and the blockchain, all that does, it just verifies that transaction, that thing is real. You own this, as opposed to us getting a contract on a piece of paper and that may be flying away. You'll never know on the blockchain. And the good thing about the blockchain is it goes, if I transfer it to you, that's a new block. And you can't defraud that, right? Someone can't come in and say, no, that's mine, right? The blockchain verifies those transactions are real. So an NFT is more of just a verification system that, something is yours. Whether it's a car title, a house deed, rewards. Starbucks just came out with their big rewards program that they're gonna have NFTs, and it's gonna give them coffee experiences. I don't know what that is. If it's going to Colombia, I'm gonna start drinking coffee experience. But it's so much more than what people think it is. Like my dad, for instance, thinks I'm nuts for being in the space, because what's the value, right? He goes, where is it? And it's, where's your gold bar? If you own a gold bar, where is that? It's sitting in a, you're not
somewhere,
maybe. Yeah, maybe, exactly. So it is one of those things. I think the space grew so quick, and it does have a lot of people that are frauds, right? Because there's so much money in it. Mm-hmm. The first panel that I did, and I always, again, I say I do the wrong things and say the wrong things. The first panel that I ever did was a blockchain panel up in Seattle. This is probably 5 years ago. And blockchain for me was built on trust, right? Because you can trust that this is mine because the blockchain says it is, because it has that true ownership, that trust. And I said the problem is, and this is when the ICO boom started. So there were so many people. I had someone come to me and say, Greg, I want you to be CEO of my company, and I want you to build a coin. And I was like, all right, what do you want your coin to do? I don't know yet, but let's just put shit out. Let's get the ICO, and then we'll figure it out. I was like, wait, what? Because people were just throwing in millions and millions of dollars. So I sat out there, I said, you know what? The only problem, the big problem that I see is I'm going from conference to conference, and everyone looks the same, talks the same, acts the same. If you want to get mainstream, you got to change that. The only other big problem is blockchain is built on trust, in my opinion, and 99% of the people in blockchain are frauds, right? So it's like, wait a minute, there's something that needs to change. So same thing with the NFT space. There was, people that got in it that made a lot of money off a cartoon picture, because people were buying things because they thought they can flip them, which they did. They made a lot of money. But then what? Right? What do you do with the cartoon picture, right? Then utilities started coming into play.
Yeah, that's what I'm figuring out. What do you do with some of this?
But even like a Bored Ape, right? Or even take a company like Cybercon's unbelievable NFT collection. It was, I think, a tattoo artist that created these little cartoons. The Cybercons, they put them up, made a ton of money. Mm-hmm. And then he was like, most of the people are like, holy shit, what now? Because now you have a community that bought something, that wants to flip it, and the only way to flip it, and the only way to make money is for some kind of utility to come in. Because then it's going to die off, and that's it. So they started having to create, which they did. They're one of the organizations that did a really good job of giving you new utility. But even their community that's even as a company like that that's given more and more new utility, they still want more and more utility. So a lot of the NFT collections that made $1 million, they didn't have any plan, nothing. They just did a fun little cartoon series. They pushed it out. They made $1 million, $2 million, and then they had no idea how to even run a business, right? It's now a business. Once you sell it, it's now a business. The problem is people didn't think that it's going to be a business before they sold it. They just sold it, and then they had to figure it out. 50% of them didn't even want to figure it out. They just took the money and ran. And then the other 50 had a really hard time trying to figure out utility. So what is the utility? Now NFTs, when it comes to artwork and Bored Apes and stuff, there's nothing wrong with a little portion of the NFT market that is going to be just a picture, right? It's like a Van Gogh or something. What's the utility of Van Gogh? I can look at it, right? That's it. There's no other utility. It's not like it can do anything for me. So when it comes to artwork and stuff, there's some that can be just a Van Gogh. And you could put it on a TV screen just like a piece of art. It's, the same thing, but it doesn't have any other utility. The real thing is, where is the utility coming from with this new stuff? So that could be a niche artwork style where there's no utility except I like it, right? And the value is because I paid it, because I like it.
Appreciation.
That's it. And whether you flip it and whether someone else thinks that's valuable too, that's up to them. And if they do and they buy it for double, that thing is now valuable to that person and that increases the value. Now where we go into play is the utility. So even 4 years ago, I created 2 NFTs, one with Chief Keef, and the companies that we work with, they said, this is it. And it was a little cartoon character with a microphone. And I was like, what does it do? He goes, nothing. This is it. And I was like, well, I don't get it. I said, why would someone buy this? And then, again, this is before the NFT market even started. I was like, I don't get it. He goes, we got to do something else with it. He goes, well, what do you want to do? I was like, something, because this is just a piece of artwork, right? It's a cartoon. So we wound up getting that little microphone in a few blockchain games to where if you go around a game, and I think it was Unforgotten World, one of the little blockchain games, and if you found the microphone, it would give you special powers. Right. I was like, all right, that's something. I still don't want to play the game, but at least it
does make some sense. Like,
something. There's something. We wound up not pushing it out because, again, NFTs weren't even a thing, so people didn't even know it. So maybe we would make a few $100 or whatever. Nowadays, you can make $1 million. So even the game that a friend of ours created, he had an avatar, created a platform called Replicant, built on Unreal. Thing is amazing. I met him 4.5 years ago now. Thing is one of the best avatar animation platforms in the world, right? Unbelievable. Created a game just to show utility for his avatars. This is 4 years ago. And I was like, well, what are you doing with that game? He was like, well, we just wanted to see and just start showing what the utility is for our avatar. Our avatar can go in a game, our avatar can do this, or our avatar, I was like, I've been in the gaming space for, at this point, it was 12 years. I can do a lot with that game. So we took license of it and continued to develop that and all that stuff. And it was one of those things that they did an amazing job developing this game, but it has real utilities. Before, they never called it an NFT. It was a digital asset. Just like a friend of mine that left Activision created a company called Mythical Games. It was just a digital asset. Now it's considered an NFT, just because of the word. Take that away, I did forget NFT even exists. It's just a true ownership of the digital asset. But every avatar that we create, we pop in game, and if you own that NFT, so say we do a Dr. Dre NFT avatar. So you not only own that that digital asset, but it's playable in game, and it can increase in value. And then it's going to be able to increase in power. And there's a lot of things that we could do that. We'll always have additional utility. Also with the avatars that we create, once the platform comes public, you can take that avatar and you can animate it however you want, put it into different scenes, like amazing things. So
can you also you say Dr. Dre, can you also link, you said the music's crap, can you also link music?
Put everything. So music is a big thing. Music in the NFT space is going to be a huge thing. Right? It gives kind of the power to, just like social media, it gave the power to not only athletes because they don't need managers anymore. People are coming to them on social media, right? Same thing with music, right? You have people actually own. I don't really understand how that works where, I understand if I own an NFT of a certain album, I own a little piece of it, but how can you ever get your money? I haven't really figured that out too much, but I do know music is going to be a big part. So our game, the avatars can be NFTs, and they don't necessarily have to be NFTs, right? There's gamers, there's athletes that just want to be in game. So we'll create their avatar, and we'll put them in game, and it doesn't have to be an NFT where
Any more
people
than
can buy
that.
it. It's just a character that you can play in game.
Represents you.
Now,
Yep.
if you own the avatar, if you own the NFT, then you have that NFT in your wallet, and you're the only one that can play with that NFT
Right.
in game.
So that's for example, you had, because we were talking about this earlier, like if you look at the whole Peloton and a while ago when they had this issue of music licensing, could you arguably do do some sort of like game or workout, virtual workout or whatever, and have that, you know, if you're an artist, could you allow people to use whatever
Use your
music
song,
you want?
buy your song, buy your
so you
track.
can track it like that
Yeah.
way, can you?
And I think there's artists that are starting to do it. The problem is they can't be with the record label, right? You know, these
Right.
record labels own, you know,
Right.
whether it's the masters
The
or the
IP.
musics,
Yeah.
and they haven't. You know,
Worked it
record
out
labels are, you know, they're trying to figure out how can we stay a record label, right? Because these artists are doing their own thing, especially artists are leaving the record labels to create their own. But yeah, that will be a thing where once, you know, if you create your own album and it's not owned by anyone else and it's owned by you, yeah, you can start pushing that out. It could be a private thing where only, you know, when I say that only you can listen to it, it's just like a Bored Ape, right? Anyone can take, or an NBA Top Shot. It's an NFT, so you own that video, you own that clip, you own that thing, but anyone can go online and see it, but you actually own it. Same thing with music. You'll actually be a real owner of it, but you also want other people to listen to it, but you're a true owner of it.
Right.
So music, and it can be fractionalized, but all that's, you know, regulations and stuff is going to come into play. You never
Will
know
be.
how NFT are fractionalized, but when it comes to workout videos, the only problem with that right now is licensing.
Yeah.
Right, and all these big labels, they can't. It's hard for them to get into the metaverse and stuff because the metaverses have to pay the license fees and stuff, and it's tough. You know, we're actually working potentially with a company called Dash that we could get our own radio station. They own the license, and we can use any music, right, and put any music into our metaverse, which we're doing with the Rams. Right, that'll be a part of what we're doing with them. And we can have, you know, we can teach how to be a DJ, how to have their own station, and that's owned, right? You don't have to pay for the license. You can put any music out. We just have to figure out how that, if we do have an NFT in it, maybe it's NFT to have a membership to listen to that station, and only you can listen to that station. So if you go in the metaverse, you go into a virtual land, or just on you know, your phone or something, you have to have almost like a passcode or something. So your NFT will be a passcode in order to listen to that station.
Got
And
it.
that NFT would be transferable, sellable. And maybe there's 1,000 of them, or 10,000, or 500,000, whatever that is, but only 500,000, whatever that number is, are the only ones that can actually listen to that station.
Right.
Do you think that'll shake out a lot of the record labels? Like, do you think it's going to you know, because
Further
they-
disrupt.
Yeah, because it's already been in a mess. But do you think it will be more artist, you know, direct to consumer kind of model by having, you know, the ability to do that?
Yeah, of course. Plus, you got to realize TikTok and all social media, it's making, you know, these young artists. I mean, look at what's I forgot. He started from a YouTube video, right? So YouTube videos. So what's his name? I forgot.
JT, Justin?
Yeah. Started with a YouTube video. Now he went to record labels and stuff like that, but social media really wasn't, you know, that big then. Now, Justin Timberlake, if he goes on TikTok and has a, you know, great song, he can take that song. It's not owned by a record label, and he can just crush it, right? And then, you know, music tours, all that stuff. So social media is allowing these young artists finally
The stage.
because
Direct
unfortunately,
stage.
that's exactly it. And unfortunately, when it comes to record labels and all these big companies, they're cherry picking, right? You know, they get it might not be the best music, it might not be the most talented artist. Maybe he's wearing the right clothes for the right time, and they think it's the right thing for their record label. Now you can be whoever you are. You put out some kick-ass music with some, you know, great, you know, just some talent, and you can do it on your own for sure. And NFTs will be able to, you know, make them the money that they need to continue that and put out more music.
So thinking of utility, and so music aside, we get that it's a bit of a mess, but it will get solved because things always get solved in time. Someone comes in with an elegant solution. If you think about health and fitness and utility, NFT, like what could you see playing out that would be valuable to an end user?
Well, I think the rewards structure is a big thing when it comes
Right.
to NFTs, right? So any kind of loyalty or rewards. So say, you know, a fitness app. And again, the NFT, people are doing it left and right. They pay for a membership, right? But that membership, who knows, it could be taken fraud. The NFT, all it does is give you that membership for life until you transfer it. And no one can screw that up, right?
Right.
So it's actually in fitness, the apps and all this stuff. So I think that's, you know, a true thing. Plus if you own an NFT, you can have certain things, experiences I think are big, you know, when it comes to our professional athletes. We were gonna, you know, have all these experience when it comes to, you know, private workouts or stuff. You can imagine that if one of the best fitness experts has an NFT collections and 1,000 people can buy that NFT, you know, maybe every week one gets picked and they win a private training session with that. But you have to own the NFT, you have to own that membership in order to get that. So I think that and the workouts themselves, I think there's something there. I don't know exactly what, but you can imagine once you understand what an NFT is, and it's not just a Bored Ape or something, it's just giving somebody, yeah, you're in my club, or you're in this, or you're in that. Access is exactly it. It's then you can do some really fun things, rewards and stuff. I think there's a bunch of fitness apps that you get rewarded for just walking around or exercising or something.
Right.
That I think is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So if you put that into the NFT world, to where there are reward structures, you're getting essentially paid, and eventually you could be getting paid in crypto, getting paid in this once that starts coming in. But you have to own that membership, that NFT, in order to get those rewards. And then you walk around, you exercise and stuff. The more exercise, the more, you know, money, token, whatever you get. Maybe you get a meal plan. You know, there's so many experiences that you can get, especially in the fitness side. And for me, we built one program called Rehab with the Troops. And in order for me to get these vets off the couch, I had to give them a lot, right? I give them a lot of incentive.
Yeah.
So you take someone like my mother, for instance, she's not going to work out, right?
No.
She works out for one of our kids' weddings and that's it.
That's it.
Now, if she had to pay, like she helps my kids' braces, right? So, and she has to figure out the dollars in order to do that. So if I said, hey mom, there's a new NFT fitness app that's out there, and you can pay, you can select braces, in that NFT. And if you work out a certain amount of time, that money that's called that monthly dollar figure that I need for my braces, which is completely ridiculous, it doesn't even come to you. You're working out and that money comes directly to my account to pay for my kids' braces. I guarantee she's going to be at the gym, probably twice a day. And what that, in the beginning, maybe she couldn't care less about being healthy. She wants an alternative way to pay for the braces.
So real world motivation.
Real world motivation.
Earned here and then exploited or comes to you expressed in the real world.